You see that, right?
I do. Good morning. Bear with us one moment. I don't know what is happening.
Okay.
Like that?
A little better.
A little better.
Happy Monday!
Happy Monday, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Stacy.
Quesada.
We pretty much assume you guys all know us as you're part of this amazing Mercy Over Judgment Mothers discussion group. But you know, this kind of started on the impetus that we felt that a lot of issues facing mothers collectively weren't openly being discussed. And so us meeting and us, you know, vibing and talking about these things, and we're like, no, there are more mothers like this that need to hear all of these things, that need to know that it's okay to, you know, to express how you're feeling, your frustration.
Space. That's what the
all
mercy over judgment, because we love to judge ourselves
and others.
Yes.
Especially like, oh no, she's got it together, so I can't share, you know, what I'm feeling. But no, we do not one of us have it all together. And we're here to support each other. So thank you for joining us.
This is our safe space. Am I showing much cleavage today? Y'all can talk. Y'all can talk.
This
is kind of a little too sexy.
I love that shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, we just wanted to bring up, from the start of this new year, we've been, you know, giving you tools and tips to help you manage the stress that is inevitable in our daily lives. So quick check-in, how have you been doing so far with it? Let us know. Have you been keeping up your workouts? Have you been meditating more often?
Breathing. Have you been doing your breathing that we discussed?
Oh yeah.
4, 7, 8.
Ending your days with journaling. You know, something to help you decompress and keep your steady.
And something to get you going. Starting in the morning with your affirmations, with your breathing, with stretching.
I shared something earlier this week that talked about the different pain points and tensions, the aches that we feel, you know, typically at the end of a day or, you know, throughout the week, that said it was due to emotional stressors. And what's so funny, it pointed something out to me because I frequently have lower back pain. Like, that's just an issue for me. And then it was just like, oh, finances. Oh, I'm in my subconscious mind, I'm worrying about my finances. That makes sense. You know?
But her back issues have loosened up.
Yes, thank you, Lord.
So the finances are
on an uptick.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes. So I was telling her when I saw the post, I was like screaming because yes, I'm a psychotherapist, and yes, I understand how important the emotions and how it manifests itself through our bodies. I get that. But I didn't know how specific. So I was having this crazy back, like, you have back pain.
Yeah.
I have to do my stretching in the morning. I have to do my kind of yoga stretches. Otherwise, I'm done. Like, I have to. But this was no stretching in the world. And I kept saying, what is going on? My back, my back, my back. Yeah, I was thinking we were trying to get a new car. And I haven't had a car payment in a while. And just
major
thinking about
like that.
all of that and how
you.
much to spend on it and blah, blah, blah. And it was stressing me out, and it was manifesting itself on my back. As soon as everything was settled, I was like, oh, I guess I don't need a new mattress anymore. I still need a new mattress, but
the pain is gone.
We have to be in tune with our body. It talks to us. It tells us what we're doing, what we're going through. And that was just really intense for me to realize that,
so
yes,
funny.
It was finances that was hurting my lower back. And yes, we have lower back issues that are not financial.
Yes.
But it does have a correlation. I can't believe it. So just
funny.
keep in tune with our bodies, and really, when you reflect, when you try to be calm, you have your me time, then you can easier get, because I was like, I didn't know what it was finances, but I knew it was something more than just regular back pain. I kept saying, no, I'm not going to brush this off. Something's going on. I just don't know what it is. And then it was revealed.
That's so funny. And like, I'm not saying it's easy, because honestly, for me, for the last 2 weeks, it's been a struggle. Every morning, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do 20 minutes of yoga. I'm gonna do some exercise this morning. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna do some. Without a doubt, I wake up and I have my quiet time. but the exercise has been like I have to fight myself and all the excuses that come up to get it done.
And then it feels so good after.
But that's what it is. I had to get to the point where like I feel like crap. And then it's just like get moving. Your body's like locking up and getting so tight. And then finally I did my stretches this morning. I did exercise a couple of times throughout the week and I'm feeling better. I'm ready for the day.
Yes.
So I wanted to encourage you guys to get back on it if you felt fallen off and just incorporate it a couple of times a week. Trust me, you'll feel better in the long run.
Keep moving.
Seriously, do what you need to do. But yay, it's March, ladies. It's Women's Month. Can you believe it? We get a month.
It is my birthday. My son is 9 today, and I gave birth today.
Yes, got it.
So, yes. I tell y'all gotta celebrate too, because who was laid up there delivering this baby?
35 and a half hours. I will repeat that story to you.
Kidding me?
Birthday. That's too funny.
We gotta celebrate too, because we gave life. What? It's crazy.
That's so funny.
But yes, it is my birthday.
That's awesome.
Yep. And it's our month.
Yeah. So I mean, what does that mean to you guys? You know. And the idea when we were brainstorming for this came to us, and it was just like, okay, yeah, what does it mean to be a woman? But more so, it was like, when did you realize you were a woman?
It sounds kind of weird.
I know. Like, okay, yeah, you're born a female, so you know you're a woman, right? But more so the fact that as it corresponds to society, like, did you realize that it would be a difference maker being a woman? And when was that made apparent to you?
Or did you believe we were all created equally?
Oh, like they say, but it's not factual. We're all created equal, but not really so much. And it's so funny. So, good morning. Hey, Althea. Thank you for checking in. We appreciate the support, guys. So, yeah, we're talking about when did you actually realize that you were a woman? When did it, some had it as a slap in the face moment, like, wake up call, you're a woman, and that matters, and it, not always in a positive sense.
Exactly.
Or maybe you just notice, subversive, like, undercurrents of, you're a woman, that's why certain things are happening. It's not blatantly in your face, but it's little things here and there throughout your life. So when did you realize that, it's a factor in a lot of areas, in your jobs, in your homes.
In your home, even.
Oh, yeah, in your families.
Yes. Yes, it's real.
Do you want to share your story?
Okay, so the day I realized I was a woman was I had an ectopic pregnancy, which is when the baby's actually growing within the tube. And
Scary.
I didn't realize that. I know I was going through some pain, but I'm
right.
West Indian.
It's a little bit of pain.
It's gotta be gas.
It's fine.
Drink some tea.
Why are you going to the doctor?
Get some ginger ale. And be alright.
Walk it off.
And seriously, I felt like you're pregnant, right? So things should happen. But this is so early in the pregnancy. But I'm like, well, that's what happens when you're pregnant. And I wasn't bleeding. So I figured like the first thing to look for was bleeding. I wasn't bleeding. So I just assumed it was fine. It was not fine. I was literally dying. I was bleeding internally.
That's so scary.
So that's what happened. So by the time I got to the hospital, it was emergency surgery. The tube burst, which you don't want to happen.
Wow.
And so everything that could happen was happening, and it was happening now. But after that whole ordeal, and thank the good Lord, I survived. Because I remember asking the doctor, will I be able to have kids again? He was like, miss, I'm trying to save your life. And I was like, that's when it all really got clear to me. So after this whole ordeal, like family would come to visit me and stuff. And I don't know about your family, but my family, we really, I don't know what we'd be talking about.
But not life stuff, not important stuff, not feelings, not...
Like, Nothing. So, my aunt, one person specifically, I remember my aunt came to visit me, who recently passed. She came to visit me and she was saying, "Don't worry, I had an ectopic pregnancy. You'll be able to have children," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, really? And I felt like a part of a society, like nobody else could really understand this. My husband couldn't really understand what it meant. You know, first you just find out that you're pregnant, then you have such a traumatic loss, and just thinking, would I be able to have other kids again? You know, what kind of damage was done?
These are just like major fears that nobody's addressing.
Exactly. No one's saying anything. The doctor's just interested in your blood count, and you know, I'm like, you know, emotionally going through it. So other women, I was teaching at the time. Other women was coming to me and telling me their stories and encouraging me. Wow. And my friends rallied around me. And I was just like, wow. I really started to feel like I'm a woman. I am different. I think for a long time, I so focused on being black. I was so into being conscious, black conscious. I didn't realize the separation that you're a woman, a black woman. I was very into being a West Indian woman. I mean, very West Indian and black. I didn't really take in consideration that I'm a woman.
Yeah, not that.
And then it just snapped me like, there's a difference here. And that female energy is everything. And I think that's a big part of why we do this. You really want, you know, we know. We know what's going on. A lot of our doctors
biologically, we're going through the same things, maybe at different times, whatever it is, but we're kind of engineered in the same way so we can relate.
And we need to talk about what's going on with us.
We do.
Physically and emotionally.
Yeah. We need to open up that repertoire between everybody and just, support each other at different areas. You've been through it, so you can help somebody that's going through it now. And that, like you said, that was the primary reason we started this, because we're not alone in this. And oftentimes mothers feel alone. They feel isolated. And, you know, like we were talking about last week, friendship. So if you're in that transition period and it's just you and your children home and you're just isolated, right? You're not alone.
Right.
You're not alone at all. And so, plug into these things, open up dialogue. And share, because somebody else is going through what you're going through or went through.
The other women sharing with me meant everything. I felt so alone. I felt so lost. I didn't know, like, you know, the doctor's like, any questions? I didn't know what to ask. I didn't know what to feel. I had like no clue where to go with this. And other women sharing really helped me, from being in down that depression mode. Of course, I was feeling depressed, but I think I could have gone way further down the rabbit hole with that. And I think it just helped me to heal better and faster.
And to just realize you'll make it because you're seeing other people that made it through it. It's so funny. It's so funny that you say, okay, you were aware of, being West Indian, being black, and not the woman part. I had the opposite end of it, where I was always aware that I was female, right? I was raised in a house with 6 boys. My mom had 6 boys than me. So I had just stringent other rules and regulations placed on me that they were excluded from. It was like they get to go somewhere. No, you can't go. You have to go sit down and read a book. Or your brother's doing that, but you can't do that. Don't even think about doing that. And it was constantly, or it would be like, you handle housework stuff. They could do a little bit, but they're not required to do all of that. And these little, whether it was chores in the house, I'm required to do it more so than they are. Or going out in public, how I should behave versus what they're told how to behave.
That's interesting.
And so
expectations.
Huge. I felt like surmounting a lot of expectations were placed on me that I had to be polite. I had to, and it was looked at. I was looked at more harshly, especially in our culture. Like if I'm a girl child and I'm out of my place and I'm not respectful and I'm not, going in and offering help and I have to do these things. while the boys could just go say hello and go chill somewhere. And so I was very aware that being a girl made me different from a man. And I had to carry myself in a way that my brothers could respect me. I didn't quite put that together probably until high school. So I was like, what is that?
Right.
Why wouldn't my brothers respect me? You know, but then I get to high school and, like, you know, I hear about, you know, other girls being loose and da-da-da-da, and I'm like, okay, yeah, my brothers aren't hearing nothing about me, you know, better make sure, you know, and, you know, just having that expectation for myself and knowing that I had to uphold my family name because of my appropriateness, it kept me in line. You know, I'm not knocking it. It did keep me, you know, from going off the deep end where I saw other people doing whatever they felt like doing. But as far as being black, like, I knew I was black, but it wasn't something that was an issue for me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it mattered in the world. I was like, we're all equal, you know, and like, whatever. And I did notice, you know, so I had like a group, you know, most of my friends were, you know, mostly white, and it was what it was. Like, that's where I was comfortable, and it wasn't an issue. I did notice like certain social norms that were different in, like, you know, white households versus black households, things like that, but I didn't think it mattered. Then I went to college, and I noticed that mix of everybody, like how it was in high school, was very different. Everybody was like polarized. It was like you hung out with your ethnic group in college.
Which I found in high school, but
I didn't. So it was just like, okay, weird. And then once I started working in the business world and my corporate job, I really became aware of, you know, my blackness, you know, like,
and your womanness.
Yes, like it became so evident, whether it was in meetings, whether it was, you know, just thinking that you were knowledgeable enough to participate in their, you know, anything, or, you know, that they should value your opinion or your input into a project or anything like that. I would see how there were these how people related to each other. For example, those in management or just you know, white males in the company would then defer to each other in that way. So they would, you know, okay, they would reach out to another white male, and then if not, then a black male, and then if not, okay, a white female. And then me. And then the black female. So I really became aware of the hierarchy of
and that you were on the bottom of the totem
yes,
pole.
Very much so. It was, like I said, white male, white female, black female.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay, that's ridiculous. Never mind that we were same. We had the same qualifications.
Yes.
We had the same start time. We had the same everything. I would be passed up. And so there were points where I was like, maybe I need to be more outspoken. Maybe I need to whatever. But if I'm too outspoken, then I'm seen as aggressive.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
so I was like, or for example, I often got, you're very nice. I'm like, why would you not think I was nice? Good morning, Hilda. Thank you for joining us. So we're talking about the day you realized you were a woman, and that it was a major difference maker in society. So what
did that do to your self-esteem?
Oh, jeez. I had a lot of self-doubting, self-questioning, because, okay, there were like promotions that, you know, were passed up and things like that, or projects that were handed to one person even though you're clearly more qualified to do the project, things like that. So it was just like, or being put in a position where you felt like you had no voice. Like, you're not going to be listened to, so give the information to the person that is going to be listened to.
Right.
And I'm
like,
like,
they're not going to give you the props. But
exactly. So I'm sitting there like, what is this? Like, this is, I should expect this? Never mind, you know, I went through all this education to be at this position, and now you're still telling me I can only go so far. And I really
because
became
you
aware
are a woman.
because I was a black woman. And I really became aware of the glass ceiling. I really became aware of all these little nuances and social, just weird oddities that I wasn't aware of, growing up. And I didn't like it. For a while, I tried to fit in, and I noticed that the first half of my corporate career, I spent kind of holding myself in. So I would go to work and I would be this like reserved, not really plugged in. You don't really get to see the full side of me. I'm just
leaning in.
Oh no, I'm just here doing my part, being as polite as possible. No, I'm not gonna engage past that point. And I wasn't exactly. I wasn't being my full self. So right before I left, it got to a point where like I'm not accepting this. Like I'm living like a partial life because your life is at work too. You spend majority of your time there.
Portion, right?
And I'm like, I don't like this culture. I don't like how I'm feeling, and I'm not going to accept you telling me I need to be in this position of less. No. You know what I'm saying?
Stay in your corner.
Like I don't care what society has bred. I'm choosing not to accept this because I do value myself. I've worked just as hard as anybody else to have my voice heard. And it got to that point. First I was accepting. I'm like, this is how it is. This is how it is.
Right.
You know, I got to work within these lines. And then I was just like, no, I don't.
If you don't want to be the angry black woman.
Right. Oh,
Heaven forbid.
And even without me being this like loud, blah, blah, there were people that did see me like that because I would speak my mind. You asked me a question, I would tell you. And she's like, oh. You know, like there were people that really thought of me as aggressive. Me. If you know me, that's not me. Exactly. But if you ask something, I'm going to tell you honestly what I think.
Right.
And I've been told I was blunt and things like that over the years or too honest. And I'm like, I don't know, whatever. But that's not me. So I think that, like you pointed out, these are these like preconceived notions of what black women are and those ideas.
Yes, a generalization.
Yeah, which is nonsense. Like, oh, you're nice. Why wouldn't I be nice? What did you think I would be? You know? So it's just weird. I can completely identify with everything you've experienced. Aww. Yeah, I've gotten that, Hilda. I've gotten that from a lot, especially women that have worked in the business world or any sort of, corporate structure like that. They'll admit to me, like, I felt that way, that this weird social hierarchy, and then finding out that when it comes to pay, we're still being paid less than, a man would in the same position, the same role. And a lot of times, just like with the race part of it, where we're taught to do more to be on the same level, women expect to work harder to be considered as equals to men. We're expected. We know. We put that on ourselves too. Like, no, I'm going to do more than he does because you're not going to tell me I'm not worth the same amount. But still, we're being devalued as far as pay wise.
So we wear all these different masks. We have a different mask at work, different mask at home, different mask at church, because we have to try to fit in, like you were saying, into these different roles. Unless you just don't want to anymore. Sometimes it's just too much to fit in.
It's so funny. So Hilda's saying that she prayed and prayed for the right solution, and then it came to a point where she had to stand up for herself and for her family, especially, and her family was supportive of it, and her sons were supportive of it, which is awesome, which is very awesome. But I feel like a lot of culture is just accepting that you have to work within these lines.
Yes.
And I'm like...
And get less pay.
And work harder for less pay because that's just what society says it is. And I'm like, no, it's time to go against the grain. It's time to not accept anything less.
But again, like we also said, that women against each other in the workplace is another thing too. Oh,
yeah. The one-upmanship?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, out. I'm like, we're on the same. No, not.
No.
Okay.
And sometimes we have to prove ourselves so much. Like you try to go in with another black woman that's already Ooh, Lord.
I don't get what that competition, like we're fighting each other for the same positions or the same sort of favor or popularity in the office, when it's just like, why don't we're stronger together, just like we saw from the Women's March. We can accomplish so much more when we are for each other, when we join and are for a same cause and support each other through
Sometimes it's just not that pretty. It really isn't. We will tear each other down. There's not enough space for us on the top, so we just fight each other. And it's horrible. I speak to a lot of my friends. It's just like such a fight at work against your own black women. It's just, they just make it harder. It might as well be a white man, a racist white man there. It's horrible. And that we do need to call people out on that. It's not all lovey-dove.
No, it's not. It's funny.
It's not.
And just the point of women in general. So, a friend of mine, Molly, basically pointed out the fact that the elections for her, I'm sharing this story of hers, that the elections for her was that point where she realized, okay, being a woman was a major factor in society. And the fact that, like, I'm paraphrasing, the fact that, okay, this man that won the election could be how he was, and Hillary had to be poised, had to be completely put together,
crazy education,
cover everything, work extra hard.
Experience. That's a great example.
Exactly. Work extra hard. She served under multiple different people. She's overly qualified. And yet this man, for whatever reason, is still voted above this woman who clearly can do the job and is qualified to do the job. There's no doubt about it. And there were even women.
Many women that didn't vote for her just because she was a woman. Just because she was a woman?
Which is crazy. Because they bought into this idea that, no, a man should be in lead and a man should be in this position of leadership over the country.
Yes. She's a liar. He's not.
But exactly. Like, what? They're both doing the same thing. So what? But it's okay for him, but not for her. Different standards for women.
I mean, there's a lot of things that went on with the election.
We're not.
But that woman issue is real.
It was crazy.
It was so real.
It was crazy. And then she was pointing out that, she never realized, like, she'd accepted, just like most of us subconsciously have just fell into line into where society has kind of shuffled us. No, you go here because you're a woman. But you go here, and she was just like, okay, I'd accepted that this is just how it was. But after the election, she realized she could do something about it. Like, there was this acceptance, like, this is just how it is. And, okay, go ahead. But then it's like, no, like, you can cause change.
Yes.
You can speak up and have your voices heard. So I think
the love and the female energy that came out of those marches.
Oh, gee. We can do so much more together than fighting against each other. True story.
Beautiful, beautiful. People really realize that we can get together and make changes. Oh, we can really do something. So let's fight each other. And this is a great place to start.
Exactly. I love Hilda's comment just now. She was like, if any company feels that I'm worth keeping on the payroll, and that I do good work, then you better make sure that I feel valued. And otherwise, she's like, because I know I'm worth it. How many of you know you're worth it? Thank you for that.
Let's stop. Let's think about that. Let's breathe that in.
And it took a minute. It took a minute for me in corporate structure because I was coming right out of college. So I'm green. I'm naive. I'm going, and I'm a hard worker. So I just jump in and I'm doing my best and expecting life to be fair, expecting the company to treat me fairly. Right?
Nope.
And then it was just like, wait, but I'm slighted here. Oh, but I'm pushed back here. Oh, wait. No, you don't get that raise, but he does. Oh, wait. And it was just a lot of these little things, or I'm knocked down. There was a lot of public, like, making sure I put you in place in public, in front of others. And I'm like, why is that okay?
So then everyone will know their place.
Exactly. Oh, me, particularly.
Yes.
Why is that okay to treat people that way? It's just a sense of decency. And so I was like, and you deal with a lot of different
institutionalized
a lot of
racism and sexism.
Yeah, in a corporate culture, but you also deal with other personalities, and you got the people that are obsessed with what is that role called, where people that shouldn't be in leadership, or that they tyrants. Like anybody that gets a little bit of power and they just go crazy with it. There's a lot of little mini little crazy people running around your office, and they become office bullies. Like, that's an actual coined term. Like, you'll see that in corporate structure. There are office bullies. But other than that, it's just like, this should not be allowed. Treat people with decency. Exactly. Never mind, all the nonsense.
How about we just assess people's work? How about that?
Never mind where it's coming from. Do you do good work? That's what I expected.
Exactly. Silly you. So silly.
I know. What was I thinking? My son said it to me because I've been saying it to him. And he's just like, life's not fair, Mom. And I'm like, oh, crap. What am I teaching you?
Exactly. So anyway, we deal with all those pressures and discriminations at work. Then you come home.
Oh, jeez.
And the different roles you got to play at work. And it's just a lot. Sometimes it can seem like there's no reprieve.
For real.
Yes.
And that, I think, almost got me to a mental breakdown. Because I was working full time. And then he's working full time. Mm-hmm. And I'm still running home, and the brunt of the nurturing and rearing and making sure everybody's okay is still on me. Wait a second.
She's not going to talk too much about that, because we're going to really go in on that topic.
But that is an expectation.
Real.
That is an expectation of many people, not just in your home, your husband, but other, like my mom would be like, oh, so who's taking care of the kids?
Yes.
Sorry? You saw that I was working?
Huh?
So you're supposed to be wearing all of these hats,
dragging these kids everywhere you go. Because if you see them without them, it's like, what kind of mother are you? Where are your kids? Mm-hmm. Home with their daddy.
Can I get a break?
He's not a babysitter. He's their father.
Oh, that's another point that you want to get on. That's so funny.
So there's just sometimes the roles and the hats and
it's a lot.
The people putting you down and keeping you and suffocating you in certain roles.
Oh, yeah.
It's just too much.
And it's so funny. A friend of mine yesterday brought up, she's like, you guys mentioned mommy guilt, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I had a moment like that. And I'm like, yeah, we do it to ourselves. Like, we have it in our heads. I was like, but it's worse when people put it on you. Like, I already feel bad that, I had to work. My kid is sick, so I had to bring him to grandma's house or something like that because I didn't have any more time. Things like this, and I'm sitting there beating myself up. I know my baby's sick, and I would be the best person to take care of him, but I would get in trouble at work.
Exactly.
And the trade-offs, constantly juggling these trade-offs.
Every day.
But then have somebody else point it out. Oh, your child's sick? Why? And you're here? Mm-hmm. Some nonsense.
Yes.
Well, and like you had to explain yourself. Mm-hmm. And
it would be another woman.
Oh, of course. Oh. Whether it's my mother, whether it's mother-in-law, sister-in-law, somebody, like, just keep your comments.
Exactly.
To yourself. Sometimes. And it's like, this is when I need the support. Like, don't feel bad. We all got to make these choices. He'll be fine. I'm sure your mom is just like you and will take great care of him. Like, somebody to just not kick you when you're down.
Yes.
Right? And I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not accepting this. I do still hear the nonsense coming at me, but I'm like,
yeah, but when you don't take it in, it's a difference.
I'm not.
Or when you
I'm
work
not
at not taking it in.
Yeah, I'm not accepting that. So
you work on building yourself up. Yeah. Saying that, I know I'm a good mother. I know I'm making the right decisions, even though you don't know all the time. But just keep yourself confident, because that's what we do. We make mistakes. We learn. We just learning this thing. Mm-hmm. And you speak to other women and ask what worked for them.
Exactly. And it's constantly evolving, constantly. So give yourself that grace and don't let people put, like, you'll hear it. And back in the day, I would hear it and I would have it replayed in my head all day long, beating myself up.
That's
but
what we do.
it's like, come on, knock it down. You are a good mother. This is just for one day or whatever this week, but next time you'll make sure and do what you got to do to knock down their nonsense as well as your own.
We're going to get into
all
more
of
these things.
All of these things.
As the month goes on. Because it's a lot.
But yeah, being a woman, honestly, I love that I'm a woman. I would not trade. So what society may look at whatever and try to slight me. I love that I'm a woman. I love the femininity. I love that I get to dress up and be fabulous when I feel like doing whatever I want to do. And honestly, we're slick. Like, we don't have to be all aggressive and, fighting to get our way. We're just playing the background. Behind every strong man is a
strong woman.
Exactly. And we know how much we handle. These men couldn't get anywhere without us. So
true. We do a lot.
Exactly.
And we need to praise ourselves for it and praise each other for it. Because we do a lot. A lot is expected of us.
Yep.
Just physically with our bodies. What we have to go through every month.
Exactly.
What we have to deal with.
Pregnancies. Pregnancy is rough. Like, your body actually has to break apart and then rebuild itself. And that's why everybody's like, oh, your body's different after pregnancy, because it's kind of like a new body. So, you know.
And that's what you're going through physically. Let's not forget what we're going through emotionally. Please, we can't forget about that. Oh, Chrissy Teigen was talking about postpartum depression and what she went through. As a celebrity, it's so important that celebrities talk about this stuff. This is like a big topic for me. Women are not having a voice, and they feel embarrassed and they feel less than.
Right.
Because you went through a lot emotionally after you had a baby. I don't know how it is expected for you not to.
I feel like the lack of support after having a baby there needs to be more support.
Society's the worst.
There needs to be someone physically coming to check on you and making sure you're okay. Not just, oh, your well visit at the gyno. Oh, you're healed? Okay, I'll take your stitches out. Good luck again. Like, no, I need somebody to come in my home, make sure I'm okay keeping this little person alive and myself, because I'm healing as well as required now to take care of this
and not
person.
just asking you questions about your body physically, but also asking you what you're experiencing emotionally, psychologically. It's so vital. But we just suffer in silence because that's what we do.
I know. Or, you confided in somebody and they knocked you down.
So now you really shut your mouth. Do you know when it was popping out kids on the cotton fields and they got right back to work? And you're like, what? Oh my God, how dare I say anything? I'm in a hospital. I have a midwife. How could I say anything? What? Are you for real?
Why I need to hear that story right now.
Oh my God, it's horrible. And then they start telling you about all these other people. She had 8 kids and she was fine and da-da-da. So then you feel like you
never had a C-section.
Exactly.
So what's wrong with me? Exactly. I had a C-section.
So something must be wrong with you. And you're taking the easy route, clearly. Emergency C-section. You're taking the easier route. But it's horrible. It's horrible. So we just shut up and suffer in silence and just keep it moving. And keep it moving, and most of us go back to work after 6 weeks.
Which is the nonsense.
We can't even get into all this.
Yo, I'm an advocate. It is not fair that Canada, our neighbor, gets a year while we're 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yo, 6 weeks. Like, we're still healing, and for that whole year, we're still healing.
Yes.
But we're required, otherwise we lose our position or our pay.
You don't get paid. It's like, I gotta work. I need money. How else am I gonna feed this child?
Yep. It's nonsense. But
so much.
I would love to start a campaign with that. I'm so passionate about that one. Like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so there's a lot to cover in this Women's Month. Honestly, let's just celebrate ourselves this month. We are awesome.
Yes.
We are awesome.
We are.
And
nowhere.
So thank you guys so much for joining us. So keep, commenting on this post. because I want to hear your stories. When did you realize, or can you relate to any of these points that we shared? You know, it's very important to share your woman experience. It's different for each of us. But yeah, and we will see you next week. When are we discussing? The different expectations and inequalities. But yeah, we love you guys, and we'll see you soon. Have a blessed week, guys.
Happy Monday.